Welcome to PB Under 5, where it's my mission to provide you with biblically based content that will take you to a greater level in your leadership. I'm Pastor Brandon, and today we're continuing our Leadership in the Gospel of John series in John chapter 17, in verse 11, where Jesus says this powerful phrase as he's praying to the Father. He says, "And I am no longer in the world, but they are in the world," speaking to his disciples, "and I am coming to you. Holy Father, keep them in your name, which you have given me, that they may be one as we are one." And I'm thinking about this passage, and this is at the end of Jesus' life. He's on earth, and he's thinking about the future. He's thinking about what it's going to be like for his disciples to carry on the mission after him, and he prays for them that they might be one as he is one with the Father. And so I think about that, and I know that many leaders today that I've run into, and even in my own life, we don't typically think about the future, what it would be like when we're gone. We're just so focused on our tasks and leadership and mission right now, but we often forget that there's going to be a day that comes that we're no longer there. And oftentimes it's pretty tragic when leaders are gone or they transition, and what's left behind them just crumbles because they didn't build up somebody to take it up after them. And I know for me, I'm just the blessings of being in leadership in your early 20s, I guess, in such a turbulent time in your life. I've made, I think, at least 7 significant leadership transitions in the last 5 to 6 years of my life. And I haven't done them all well, but I know that there's been some times that things have gone well and things have gone wrong. And I just want to share with you guys a couple things that I really hope will inspire you and encourage you to think about where you are right now and how you can extend the mission beyond your own lifespan. And whether you've been in whether you feel like your position of leadership is going to extend for 30 years or 3 months, I believe that these things are going to help you to be able to create something that will last beyond you and help your mission to grow. And so the first thing is this, that no matter what period of time that you're in leadership, always be preparing somebody to take your place when you're gone. No matter, again, if you are expecting to be in there long term or not, always have your eye on somebody that you're preparing and growing. At the very least, they can be the greatest support to you and assistant to you in whatever you're leading. But if you're developing somebody, they are then able to carry on the mission after you're gone. And oftentimes you don't know. You don't know when tomorrow comes. You may die. You may be asked to be promoted. You may move somewhere else. And in a moment, you have to train your successor. And so I'd encourage you in every moment that you have, always have somebody that you're preparing as you are growing. And then secondly, always make sure that you are documenting your own leadership as much as you can as you're going through it. I know the one time I did this really well was I was in a position as local missions director at Northwest University, where I went to school, which is a great school. I was, I was leading, and then I had somebody that was going to take over for me for the next year because it's kind of an annual thing, and I was graduating, and I put together this little binder for my successor, and just kind of with some procedures that I did, and some of the names of leaders of different groups and how those had worked out, and kind of my vision for the future. If he wanted to kind of take that and run with it or go somewhere else, it just really kind of helped him to see what was going on. And I think he thanked me a couple times for that, where it was amazing for him to have that binder to be able to help him to start basically where I left off. And that next year, it didn't all go well for him, but he actually was able to start off farther than I was. So it was definitely a great transition. And it was because I took the time to think through how I led, and I passed that on to someone else. And so those two things, always preparing somebody and then documenting your leadership as you go, are big things that will help the mission to extend beyond you. And like Jesus, will be people that are thinking about the future and not just thinking about the immediate moment. And so I encourage you with that today. And hey, next week we're going to be continuing this series in the Gospel of John. If you like this content, I encourage you to share it with your friends. And we'll be back next week as we continue this series.